All in.
All in, he said.
We just went all in on the bubble after getting raised on the flop. Let's rewind. It started off just like any other day. I took my city walk, hit the gym. Today was the day I was hoping to make my life change. Like Mike McDermott said, you can't lose what you don't put in the middle. You can't win much either. What's up, everybody? Kyle Jams Poker here, and welcome to the first video of my poker YouTube channel. This has been something that I've been wanting to do, and I'm really looking forward to getting it started. So, to kick things off, tomorrow we'll be playing in the $400 MSPT Showdown 2-day event. And tomorrow will be day 1B that we'll be playing in. Day 1A saw, I believe, 150 plus today. So I'm really excited to see how much Friday and Saturday pulls. Weather's not going to be the best up there. I believe it will be in the negatives. It's probably the coldest weather I've ever been in. But anyways, I definitely enjoy my tournaments a lot more than cash games. Although in 2025, I'm looking to produce a lot of content and play a lot more cash games up in Colorado as well as Vegas. So thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to learning and growing as a player and as a video editor. So thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it. We pick up 9-10 suited and the small blind, and the cutoff is going to open things up and raises things to 500. Blind levels are 100, 200, 200. We're pretty early in the tournament, and I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet this one in the small to 1500, and the cutoff barely thinks about it, and he makes the call. So we flop ace queen jack as we are open-ended, as an 8 gives us a straight as well as a king. So we check things over, and the cutoff also checks things over. So the turn comes at 4, and the cutoff is going to bet 2,000 after we check. We make the easy call since we're open-ended, and it's really early in the tournament. But the river comes the ace of clubs as we absolutely brick. So we're not even going to try to bluff at this one. We check it over, and cutoff, that's pretty big. So on to the next one. And here we are in middle possession, and we pick up pocket kings, an absolute premium. But although a premium, a absolute ace magnet as well. So we're gonna raise things up to 800, blind levels 200, 300, 300. And got a couple seats to our left, and the cutoff is going to make the call as well as the big blind. So we're going to the flop with a pot size of 2.9. And the flop comes clean. So we're looking at 965. So great flop for us. We're gonna lead out and bet about 3/4 pot for 2,200, and cutoff's going to make the call. Big blind is going to then fold, and we are going to the turn, which of course we get our change back, and with the turn comes the 3 of hearts. So we are out of position here, and we're gonna lead out for 5,000, and the cutoff makes the quick call. So curious to know what his holdings are right here as the river comes 9, and we don't love this card, but we don't hate this card. We really would have liked to see something like an over card, like a 10 jack or a queen, but we're gonna take this down as we check it through. In the next hand, we're going to pick up pocket 8s in the hijack, and this one is a little bit of a doozy. Blind levels are 300, 500, 500, and we have 24,000 in chips. And under the gun 1 is going to go ahead and lead out for 1,100, and the low jack calls as well. We make the call, and the cutoff makes the call. And then the button also is reaching for chips. I don't know what he's thinking about, but he's going to make the call as well. And it's going to be on the small blind now, who folds, and the big blind's getting some pretty good pot odds here as he just makes the call. And we are going to a flop with 6.8 in the middle, and beautiful flop as we flop top set on a rainbow board. But things got interesting here is undergun 1 checks, and the low jack is gonna lead out for 4,000 pretty quickly. And I really went through my progressions here. I just went ahead and raised things up to 10,000. With it being six-handed, I don't know if I should have made the call here or if it is a raise. Anyways, it folds around to the low jack, who he ended up saying, you flopped a set, didn't you? So he read me pretty well here, and he's gonna go ahead and think about it, and he doesn't look too convinced to make a call, so he's gonna make the fold. Alrighty, we're going to pick up Ace 4 suited here in the low jack. Blind levels are now 300, 600, 600, and undergun plus 2 is going to raise things up on a min raise to 1200. So we're going to make the call, and it folds around, and the flop comes beautiful. Ace of clubs, 7 of hearts, 2 of hearts. So we flop a pair along with flopping the nut flush draw. So undergun plus 2 is going to bet 1600, and I think about it for a second. I'm considering raising here, as we have a lot of equity right now with the flop that just came out, as we, like I said, have the nut flush draw as well as a pair. And although it is a very weak ace, and we make the call, and the turn comes to 7 of diamonds, which we're not happy to see. You know, he checks it over to me, and I'm gonna lead out this time for 3K. And you know, it's a little bit of a tough spot here for me, as you know, I started this hand with 31,000 chips, and he's gonna make the call, and the river is gonna come, and it's going to be the 3 of spades, as we cannot hit our flush draw, unfortunately. And you know, we didn't get too committed to this hand, as we check and he checks, and we have showdown value, but he has a better ace. I can't remember what his kicker was. I want to say it was ace 9, but he takes that one from us. Now we look down at ace jack suited. We have about 21,000 in chips, and we're in middle position. Line's still 300, 600, 600, and we just raise this one up. We're gonna min raise to 1200, and we're gonna get 3-bet by the low jack to 3,500. Ace jack suited, you know, it's gonna be an easy call here, as we just make the call with a pot size of 8,500. Going to the flop, we flop top pair with top kicker. So jack 10, 6, 2 diamonds. We check this one over to the low jack, who was the 3-bet aggressor. He leads out for 3K, so a little bit of a down bet. And we like our holdings, and we're going to raise this one up to 7,500. And he thinks about it for a second, but he folds pretty quickly. So we take this pot home. Oh, baby. We look down at pocket sevens here in middle position, sitting with a stack size of 48,000, with blind levels at 600, 1,200, 1,200. Pocket sevens is one of my favorite hands in poker, and this hand is absolutely massive. So the hijack ends up ripping it all in for 11,600 after there's already 4 previous callers. And I'm thinking about what I should do here. I don't know if I'm gonna shove here or if I'm just gonna make the flat and just call here. Either way, I will be out of position after under the gun plus 2 is also gonna make the fold. So it's left up to me, the middle position player, the low jack and the hijack. And you know, he's all in. He did not 3-bet to 11,000, and I'm just it's a tricky spot for me here, and I think it over. But overall, I'm just gonna go with the call here, and it'll be interesting to see what the low jack does here next after we all flat. So I make the call, and it's now on the low jack, who asks for a count of how many I put in, and I just stated that I called the all in. So he's also going to come along for the ride, and this is a huge hand right here. We already have 43,000 in the pot, and we flop middle set. Here we go. We check it over for deception. He checks pretty fast. Next card on the turn, the 9 of diamonds. We lead out for 15,000. He snapped, goes all in. So we snap. We turn our cards over. We have pocket sevens. We have a set of sevens, and he flips over king queen for top pair, and the hijack has ace 10, and we take that one home. Big hand. This next hand, we just get right into the action as the under the gun +1 ends up raising pre-flop. We call in the big blind, sitting with 80,000 with queen 9 off. We check it over and we flop top pair, and he leads out for 8,000. And I decide that I'm gonna run things up here, and I am going to re-raise to 20,000. And I flop top pair, not the best kicker, but I'm feeling pretty confident. I don't think he has any twos here. Maybe he has pocket fives. He could have a better queen, but he thinks things over, and he's kind of in the tank where he is sitting with, I want to say, 46,000 in chips. So he ends up shoving all in, and it's for another, I end up getting a count, but I want to say it's for another 26,000, which would not absolutely put a dent into my chip stack. But, I want to think these things over and kind of see what combos he could possibly have. Does he have kings? Does he have aces? The under the gun raise, it's highly possible. So the only thing is what would he be afraid of if he has kings or aces? Could I represent queen 5 in the big blind? Possibly, yeah. So we think things over, and we're counting out our chips, just making sure that we're making the right call here. And, I think about some card sense here, and you know what? I'm going to make the call here. So he kind of nods his head like we're good, and he flips over pocket tens, and we are ahead indeed with the queen. And the turn is going to come the 7 of clubs, and then the river is going to come the 4 of spades. So we're going to take this one. We look down and we peel aces, and we are absolutely stoked as we raise this one up to 8,000. And there's a lot of table talk going on. They just announced that 60 are left and 28 will make it to day 2, and it folds all the way around to the big blind, who initially grabs his chips, and I think he's about to shove, and I'm getting absolutely excited. And then he keeps looking at his cards, and like I said, there was table talk going on, and then he puts them in that folding position, folds, and pushes his chips over to me, and I just show the aces, and I'm pretty bummed. And we are back to where things started in the beginning of the video. Pocket aces once again, late stages in the tournament. We hit the flop, and we have the overpair, and we're feeling pretty good, and we get re-raised by the position next to us, and we shove all in, and he doesn't think about it too much, but he told me he flopped middle pair, but we're moving on. We bagged for day 1. We made it to day 2. Day 2 is already in the money. We're heading into day 2 with about 19 bigs, so we're gonna have to spin that up if we want to make a deep run. But man, this is my first day 2 event I've ever made, so I'm really excited. The weather, I mean, I gotta drive home in the snow, which sucks, and it's already an hour. Well, today's the day. Day 2 is here, and the tournament ended up seeing 825 runners. 89 made it to day 2. We're sitting about 60th of 89 in chips, and at our table, I want to say we are 7th of 9 in chips, and we have the chip leader at our table. So should be a fun day. We're going into it with 20 bigs, 19.8 bigs specifically. So hopefully we can run it up and have a deep run. So super excited. Let's go. We made it to day 2, and on the third hand, we pick up ace queen off with 20 bigs, and we're gonna be under the gun +1, and we raise this one to 16,000. We look down at a premium, and we get 3-bet by the button to 46,000, and this puts a decent amount of chips in the middle for me, as I'm left with about 14 bigs if I cannot win this hand. So, you know, I'm thinking things over, and, you know, ace king is definitely possible. We have a blocker, but ace king is possible. So it gets to a round back to me, and I'm gonna make the call here for 30,000 more. And this is day 2. There's 89 left. I'm sitting at about 60th. I really need a double up, but you know, this is one of those tournaments where there's a lot of people with under 20 big blinds. So we make the call and we go to a run out that gets very interesting here. So the pot size is already 112,000, and the run out comes ace 8-7, and we decide to lead for 40,000 on this one. And what do you know, he does something I did not want to see, as it's gotta be ace king. It's gotta be ace king here. And he's going to re-raise me for 120,000 chips. And this is difficult because if I make this call, I'm left with about 4 bigs or so, just not much. But I also don't want to fold. And going all in maybe just makes the most sense here for me, as maybe it's a little bit of a punt, but I mean, I have top pair and a very solid kicker. I make the call, and hands get flipped over, and what do you know? He shows ace king. And the turn comes to queen! Let's go! Wow, and I was just so excited. I can't remember what the river was, but we win a huge pot for over 320,000. Absolutely incredible. Wow, that was my one time. You can hear me say it in the video. Oof, well, we can breathe. We are now sitting with over 30 bigs on day 2. Time to spin it up.
New level, 5-10-10, please, 5-10-10.
Hand looking back that I am just not happy with myself about. I'm sitting in the small blind, and the chip leader ends up raising in the cutoff, and I 3-bet to 65,000 with ace queen suited. The flop comes monotone 8-ace-9 as we flop top pair, and we check it over, and he bets for 60,000 and a pot of already 155,000. We make the fold, and I'm not feeling great about this looking back at it. Here we are sitting with ace-4 off. It folds to us on the button. We just min raise to 20,000. The big blind calls, and we go to a flop of queen-5 deuce, and he checks it over, and we're going to go ahead and just lead out pretty small for 30,000, and he makes the quick fold, so we get another one back. Here we are down to about 8 bigs, where we look at pocket aces and we rip it all in under the gun and with a dead small, and it folds all the way around. We needed that. We were really hoping for the triple up. On to the next one. And we're sitting in the big blind with blinds at 10,000, 20,000, 20,000. We look down at king 4 suited. It's gonna fold all the way down to the small blind, who just goes ahead and limps into the pot. And with king 4 suited, I think about it for a second. I'm just gonna rip this one all in. He quickly folds. Here we look at ace jack suited. It's another blind versus blind situation. We rip it all in. He calls, and he flips over ace 4. We are so ahead. We're feeling great. Let's go. We need this double up. Come on, baby. Come on, dealer. And it comes 9-7-3. We're looking so clean. Turn up brick, and then the river comes. A 4. Wow. Just like that.
Missed my one time earlier.
We suck out on someone, and then someone sucks out on us. Our tourney life is over.
Just made it home. If you've stuck around this long, I just want to say thanks for watching the whole video. Yeah, coolers are going to happen. I coolered someone earlier on like the 3rd hand of day 2, and I should have been out after the 3rd hand, and I got a couple pay jumps out of it. So these things are going to happen, you know, variance happens, and you're going to get coolered, and you're going to be on the right side of cooler sometimes, and both of those happened today. So once again, thanks for watching. Please leave a like, and feel free to hit subscribe if you please. I plan on putting out a lot more YouTube videos, and I am looking forward to it. So thank you guys. See ya.